The other side of the Ray Rice story, his wife and the millions of victims of domestic violence. Many people are asking how she could stay with him. Now a woman who knows all too well is answering that question. Beverly Gooden's powerful response using the hashtag WhyIStayed is creating a viral movement. We're going to talk to her and Dr. Phil in a minute. They're both here, but first here's ABC's Ryan Smith.
The haunting images, a national wake-up call. Janay Rice knocked out cold by then-fiancé Ray Rice. The tape costing Rice his livelihood. But sticking by his side, the victim, Janay, now his wife, posting on Instagram Tuesday, "This is our life. Just know we will continue to grow and show the world what real love is." In May, Janay even shouldering some of the blame.
I do deeply regret the role that I played in the incident that night.
And while some ask how she could defend the football star, others like Beverly Gooden, a former victim of domestic violence, fired off tweets listing the many reasons it took her a year to leave her own abuser, all ending with the hashtag WhyIStayed. He said he would change. I believed him. He lied. Gooden's posts sparking an avalanche of comments because every time was the last time. Hashtag WhyIStayed. And because I was pregnant and wanted my daughter to have a dad. Hashtag WhyIStayed. The viral hashtag and now the infamous tape igniting a coast-to-coast conversation on the topic.
I would never stay with a man that did that to me.
She could be a positive role model for women going through similar situations.
Abused women often stay in the relationship and blame themselves.
But it's far from a new issue. It's estimated that 25% of American women experience domestic violence. Statistics also show that it takes an average of 7 attempts for a victim to leave the abuser.
It's a horrible decision to make. In 75% of cases of domestic violence, the most traumatic and the most dangerous time in the relationship is not when she stays, it's when she leaves.
For Good Morning America, Ryan Smith, ABC News, New York.
Joining us now is the creator of that hashtag WhyIStayed, Beverly Gooden, and Dr. Phil McGraw, the host of the Dr. Phil Show, who has testified on Capitol Hill on the issue of domestic violence. We have very much been looking forward to having this important discussion, and thank you both.
Thank you. It is an important discussion, and people are starting to understand what Beverly's talking about here, because the truth is separation assault is a phenomenon that occurs when you attempt to leave the abuser and even the 2 or 3 weeks after, and there are more fatal injuries and serious injuries during that time than any other. And I would hate to see this debate spark people into saying, okay, I need to get up and leave, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
And we're going to talk about that, and I'm glad that you're bringing that up, Dr. Phil. Beverly, there are a lot of women that are watching this morning that are in an abusive relationship, and it took you many times to be able to leave your ex-husband, so you understand.
Yes, I do understand,
And just talk about how many times it took you and why.
Well, the first time I tried to leave him, he laid down in front of the door to our apartment, and slept there the whole night so I couldn't get out. So I didn't leave. I think the main reason why I didn't leave, and I think this is underestimated a lot, is that I loved him. You know, I loved him. I believed in him. I believed what he said when he said he wouldn't do it again. I trusted him. I was afraid of him. All of these reasons are invalidated a lot in the public eye as bad reasons why you stay. Fear is real. You know, I was afraid of him because of the abuse. I was afraid if he would hurt me after I left. And all of those things are valid. And staying, although it may seem like a bad decision, sometimes it's the only decision a woman can make.
We've been asking people to write in, and they've said something similar to what you said. They think when you see this, that the word that a lot of people say, oh, that woman is stupid. That's the word that the people are using online. And they said fear, as you talked about. You've talked about this. You've counseled people. So what do you say?
Well, we have a huge commitment to this, the Dr. Phil Show, and my wife's foundation, When Georgia Smiled, is devoted 100% to domestic violence. And the things that she said, that her husband said, these are the top 10 reasons that abusers, they're not novel. They come up with them every time to keep them there. And the number one tool of the abuser is isolation. They cut you off from family, friends, church, others that can give you support and help you. And so you're left alone. And they take away the phone, they take away money. And abuse is not just physical, it's all of the erosion of self-worth and self-esteem.
So what do they do? Because as you said, and there are startling statistics about it is sometimes more dangerous to leave than to stay.
Because the abuser panics. It's like I'm losing control, so they ratchet it up even more and more and more. And the number one rule needs to be safety. I would hate for this debate to spur women to just precipitously jump up and either confront their abuser or leave without a plan. Number one rule is safety for you and your children. Have a plan and go about that plan. And we developed something called the Aspire Initiative, which we'll give y'all a link to, which talks about the steps you need safety-wise, the planning to get out and get out safely. It's not just get out, it's get out safely for you and your children,
and
right?
How did you do that?
That's what you...
And how did you do that, Beth?
So I started to go secretly onto domestic violence websites, the national one specifically, and they give you a list of things to do to be able to get out. One is to start to save money, just in secret if you have to, and that's what I did. I started to save money, just a few dollars here and there. They said to create a bag with clothing and toiletries and any personal items that you need, any heirlooms or anything important to you, and just keep it in a bag, hidden away in a place where he won't look, so that if any given moment you need to grab that bag and get out, you have everything you need within that bag.
These are all practical solutions. And I have to say this too, because people were saying in the case of Janay Rice, oh, her husband is a multimillionaire, that's the reason she's staying. There's all these people that are saying all these things, and women from all walks of life find themselves in this situation, Dr. Phil.
It doesn't matter if you're with a multimillionaire or not, because the abuser tells their partners, nobody wants you, there's nowhere to go. They control all of the money, whether it's a little bit or a lot. And so it just seems overwhelming, which is why women need to know, if you pick up the phone and call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or the National Network to End Domestic Violence, these organizations, they listen, they won't force you, they won't pressure you. Nobody's going to make you give your name. You can call and get help and support. Don't feel alone because it's not out there. And I know Robbins Foundation created this Aspire app, which is something that can go on your phone, and with a tap of a button, it sends out messages to 5 or 6 people you've designated that says, I need help, get here now. Even if they're not ready to call the police, they can send a message to their mother or whoever that says, come help me, don't leave me alone.
That's this information that we need to share with our viewers very much. How are you doing now, Beverly?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm 4 years removed from leaving, and the reason that I started the hashtag was to, one, give voice to the people out there who had that voice taken away, you know, to give voice to them, for them to be able to speak their mind. I think what bothered me most was that the question was, why did she stay, and not why did he hit her? You know, as if, you know, we do this across the board with violent situations. We do this with domestic violence by saying, why did she stay? We do this with rape, with saying, why did she wear that? As if your clothing or your mere presence gives someone the right to hurt you. So I think I really want to change the conversation from why did she stay to why does he abuse.
And you are really doing that with that simple hashtag. And the time that we have remaining, you're about to start your 13th season.
Can you believe that?
I know, I can't at all.
You and I've known each other a long time, Robin.
But these are you're going to start the current issues, things that are in the news.
You know, we do focus on those things. And I know today we're talking about the David Barajas story, the man whose children were killed by a drunk driver on the road, and a shot rang out and the driver was killed, and he got acquitted just a few days ago, and we have the exclusive interview with him. Moral dilemma for parents. What would you do if someone ran over and killed your children? And then Friday, the story you all have covered so well, the squatter nanny. We have that nanny and the homeowner together face to face.
The 13th season. Dr. Phil, thank you very much for being here. And Beverly, good for you. Thank you for starting and continuing the dialogue.
Good for you.
Yeah.